Welcome to Live, Life Inspired Views for Every Day. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul. As a country, we have been in a whirlwind of change since January 21st. Reminds me of the scene in the movie Wizard of Oz when Dorothy is swept up into the tornado. Changes in our government are flying by us so fast. We don't know where we will land. One of the certainties in uncertainty is that we can become susceptible to fear of things we cannot control. I thought it time to address that feeling that seems to be lurking in our country right now. In his inaugural address, President Franklin D. Roosevelt included the famous phrase, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." When we examine the laundry list of fears that this last 1.5 months has showered upon us, it reminds me of an exercise I would use when people came to me with fears or anxieties. I would have them express what they feared, then ask, "What's worse than that?" When an answer was given, I would ask, "What's worse than that?" and keep going to the very end when, with children, it would often end up with the word nothing, and with adults, it would often end with death. And there is one more question. What's worse than that? Sometimes we can examine those fears and see what we can live with and what we can't or don't want to live with. Remember what I've shared before. Those who fear they will suffer already suffer what they fear. When dealing with fears, I always say, go to the fear. When it is inside, our minds can become overwhelmed with what ifs. Fear is big in capital letters. It's like a monster from a movie ready to overtake us. But when we go to the fear, examine it in a way like I did with the exercise, what's worse than that? We then face it, name it, and explore it. We can then be in control of it. We can reframe it, color it, size it, and we can share it, which is powerful. Then we can decide what we're going to do with that fear. My sister Frida says, we can put it in a bubble and blow it away. Or we can talk to it as if it's another being and be stronger than it, like saying, "Fear, you are small and I am not going to allow you to control me." The strange thing about things we fear is that they always reside in the future. It is not in this moment. When I was in high school, I found a quote by Blaise Pascal that says, "While you are dreaming of the future or regretting the past, the present, which is all you have, slips from you and is gone." These past weeks, I've been thinking of that quote a lot. One morning, as I pondered what may happen to us, our country, our security, our families, our homes, I started thinking, what is our relationship with the present, the past, or the future? Where do we spend the most time? In the present, in the past, or in the future? Better yet, where should we be spending the most time? I recently listened to the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. He talks so much about living in the present. He informs us that the future and the past are illusions. Once time passes, it does not exist. Future time does not exist yet either. All we have is the present, this very moment. When you put it in that perspective, it makes me wonder why we give so much of our present moments away to regret or fear. The things we fear will happen have not happened yet. It's wise to think about possibilities and prepare for them, but to dwell on what might be and let it consume us and push us into a state of fear means we miss the now. When fear of the future takes up residence in our thoughts, we can push it away by just looking at something beautiful and thinking about it, or we can start constructing a list of things that we are thankful for. Something I have been doing a lot lately is thinking about the power of energy and mentally sending energy to people or situations I think about. It's even helping me fall asleep at night. Alice Walker said, "The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any." Hmm. We may not know what is going to happen, but we have the power to be afraid of the future or not. We do have the power to be grateful for something right now or not. We do have the power to read or listen to something to be informed or do a hobby or move on to another task or think about something else or not. Right now, we can do that. In the Daily Stoic, I read a wise piece. It says, it's in struggling and dealing with these problems that we've discovered things about our capacities. Indeed, we've had to increase our capacity in order to deal with them. Adversity costs us, sure, but it also gives us more of ourselves. It unlocks something in us that was not reachable in ordinary circumstances, and that's something that we didn't know was in there. Hmm. This week, on your bathroom mirror, write, today I will choose to live in the present and fear you are not invited. Hmm. Join me next Monday for Live, Life Inspired Views for Every Day. I'm Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul.